Okay. So, welcome to another episode of Healthy Your Way podcast, where we discuss issues ranging from physical, mental, emotional, as well as current fads. Today, we're going to be discussing strong women powerlifting. My special guest is Kimberly Walford, and the reason why I actually invited her is because she has 19 years of experience in powerlifting. In addition to that, she's a 7 times IPF Classic Open World Championship, current world record holder in Classic Open and World Deadlift. Best numbers, 414 pounds in squats. So I know what 300 pounds feels like on my back. That's heavy. And bench, 253.5 pounds. Squat, 542 deadlifts pounds. Do you know that's 3 times my weight? Or 4 times my weight? Combined total of 1,210 pounds. Congratulations. And with that being said, she also has a master's in criminology, master's in public safety, a bachelor's of science in exercise, sports, and science. So she's not only strong, smart, and well accomplished. So I welcome you, and I don't know what else. Is there anything else I could add to your impressive resume?
I'd like to also say that I'm also the Secretary General for my Powerlifting Federation, which is the U.S. Virgin Islands Powerlifting Federation. So
Really?
if you have an interest in that, I can assist with that too.
Okay, so what are your suggestions for beginners that are looking to even get into powerlifting?
Okay, well, first I would make sure that you're healthy and there's no issues or irritations, as I like to call them, that may affect your ability to be able to be mobile and be able to lift and do the movements needed. And if you are, please see a physical therapist so you can work on those things, because it's only going to come back and bite you later. So if you are in great shape, the next thing I would do is actually go online and Google powerlifting. Yes. And you have to figure out what type of powerlifting is of interest to you, because you have people who actually may not be able to squat, so they have bench and deadlift federations. You have people who do all three, squat, bench, and deadlift. You have people who like to lift classic or raw, as we call it, which is just with the belt or wrist wraps, versus equipped. It goes from single ply or double all the way up to multiply. So
there's a lot of variations.
Yeah, for people who don't understand what equipped lifting is, kind of consider it as like you're putting on an exoskeleton that makes you feel like Superman. It just makes it easier for you to lift heavier weight. But you have to take the time to actually learn how to use the equipment and surround yourself with people who actually have the knowledge of how to use the equipment. So normally something like that takes you, you notice that I'll say that a lot during this podcast, finding the right people. But it'll take you anywhere from like 1 to 3 cycles just to get used to equipment, if you're interested in that as well. I also say that understanding there's the option for drug tested versus non-drug tested federations as well. Yes.
I didn't know that.
So you have to decide what type of lifter you want to be, look at the pros and the cons and see what works for you. Let's see. And once you've discovered all that, then hopefully you have some friends also who may be in the arena already competing, coaching, refereeing, who could also help guide you. But then, of course, you should go meet, get to experience it and see what it's like to be there. And then from that point, if you are totally hooked, researching, finding yourself a coach. If you can afford to get a coach, there are a lot of templates out there. And notice I say templates, powerlifting templates that you could get for free and try out the programs. When I say try out the programs, ideally, my personal opinion, 10 to 12 weeks, not 2 weeks. Okay? You got to make sure, you got to get an idea of if this works for me. Also remembering that I said template. So it's not specifically designed for you exactly. Oh, wow. So you would have to tweak it so that actually you could get the most benefits out of you, which is why the best thing would probably be you getting a coach. I was thinking the same thing,
because how do you tweak something if you're new to this and you don't know what you're doing?
Yeah, but you know how some of us all start out, we're new and we're thinking, oh, I can just do this program. And yes, most likely you will get some, you will definitely benefit from doing the program, but then there are the little nuances of you not understanding, okay, well, why am I doing these certain type of lifts? Why am I doing this intensity and volume? What does, me lifting, squatting, a regular squat versus a pause squat. What are the differences in that? And that's stuff that an experienced lifter or coach is going to know that you're not going to know because you are a new lifter. So talking about going back to that coach thing. So
Okay.
what you will notice is that because we live in a society where social media is king, everybody and their mama will post about them being a coach and an experienced coach.
Kimberly,
And
please.
you have to understand that when you see, people in on videos and YouTube at competitions, and they're standing next to an athlete, that may not necessarily be their coach. Could just be someone who's handling them. So you need to ensure that when you're researching these potential coaches, that they are actual coaches who write programs, the programs for the athlete versus being the handler. Meaning that sometimes I'll handle for my friends who have coaches, but I make sure to say that I'm their handler because I wouldn't want to disrespect their coach. They did all the work creating the program.
I see what you mean.
But I feel the need to stress this to you again. Make sure that you actually check the background of this individual. See what level of lifters have they coached? Local to international. So you don't have to be a world champion to be a great coach, but you do have to have knowledge of what it's like to coach someone at that level. Hopefully numerous people at that level. Or you've also volunteered to be a coach for a team. So you've handled so many people over time that you have enough knowledge to say, oh, I can write a program and I can coach someone.
Then if somebody was interested in getting a coach, and I'm it's fair to say that you are a coach as well, how could they reach out to you for possible training or more information if they're interested in going further into powerlifting?
Of course I can. I'm full right now, but I'm more than happy to provide support about other coaches who you could definitely talk to.
So we will have her Instagram on the bottom that you can reach out to her, and maybe you can beg her to be your coach. Okay, we got the fact that you have to be careful who you select to train.
I promise you, sis, I wouldn't say it if it didn't happen because so many people out there just pick someone just because they have 60 million followers on Instagram, and some of these people have literally no experience coaching, but they're coaches. So
powerlifting is a serious sport. That is
yes. But then you also have to tell yourself, people who are new to the sport may not necessarily know that person has no experience because they're new to the sport. So how would they know? And it only comes with them starting to interact with other lifters and lifters talking about what they do in their training. And they're like, oh, I didn't do that. And then you figure out, well, my coach has me do that. And then the lifter says to you, well, you shouldn't be doing that. And then it's only with time and experience that someone realizes, maybe my coach isn't as good as I thought my coach was. Or maybe my coach isn't as experienced as I thought they were because these seem like simple things that everyone else is doing. And when I ask my coach, another thing you should consider is that if you ask your coach a question to explain why you're doing an exercise, like you're just trying to understand what is the benefit, the coach should be able to answer that question. So if a coach just tells you, just do what I say, or just makes up something that literally doesn't explain the question that you're asking, then it's just something you should take note of. Because a coach's job isn't just to keep you under, their paw, that you're just going to do whatever they say, like you're a puppet. You want to be able to become a lifter that gains knowledge about the sport, so that eventually you may not necessarily even need your coach anymore to write your programs, and your coach may actually teach you so much, like my one and only coach did. He taught me how to write programs, and I was able to write my own stuff. So that comes too with time.
That's good. I think you're right, because in any type of coaching, even if it's powerlifting or even weightlifting, anything, you want a coach who wants to educate you and wants you to learn, because you never know.
Empower.
But yes, it was true, because some coaches, they don't educate their clients. It's true. I appreciate that. I guess in summary, for a lot of people that don't, maybe doubting powerlifting or weightlifting or whatever, lifting some form of weights, what do you think you gained from it in your life that you can share with others that they may be interested in, they may be missing out on?
Like so many things pop in my head. I'll say the first thing that came to mind is I've traveled all over the world because of this sport. Now, not to say that I wouldn't have traveled anyway if I hadn't found this sport, but it just so happens that just as a result of me competing over the years, I've gotten to travel all over the world. And I mean, even a country that probably most people have never heard of, Nauru. It's the third smallest country in the world. It's located off the northeast corner of Australia in the South Pacific. Has a population of like 12 to 14,000 people, the size of Atlanta Airport. It's the size of this country. And if I had never powerlifted, I would have never known about this place. Knowing that you can meet amazing people and have long-lasting friendships. And also the great thing about having friends all over the world is that when you travel, you get a place to stay. So one less thing to worry about. We do our best to try and take care of each other too. I think from an individual perspective, once again, it's giving you an opportunity to be able to push yourself to what limits you thought were possible for yourself. Also, it's a form of therapy too. You're having a bad day, or you're going through some stressful times. It's a positive means of you to be able to exert that stress, even if it's only for an hour or two or however long you train, If anything else, I think it also helps you improve self-confidence in yourself. Anything that allows you to really challenge yourself and persevere through something gives you an opportunity to become a stronger person. So we all need that adversity and a chance to persevere to help us be stronger people. So that's just a few of the things I can think of off the top of my head, why I think powerlifting is great for you as an individual or just even a part of your life.
No, I agree with you. I think I fell in love with powerlifting this year. Like I did my first meet. I qualified for nationals, and I'm just like, I don't think anybody realizes, even lifting heavy may not be for everybody. Like just find your own passion.
Right.
But I think the end goal is like try something new, try to get out of your comfort zone. Like I had the opportunity to meet you, and then you decide to do the podcast with me. And you're right, like you get to meet people, you get to interact with people, and you grow. And I think if you don't want to grow, then maybe not getting out is your thing. But if you're looking for something different and you want to really get out, try something. Powerlifting is there, and it's new. You're right. Get the right person to train you, because you do not want to get injured. It's not like you're lifting paper. You're lifting heavy weights, people.
Can I mention something about that? Because you just made a really valid point. So a lot of us have learned, like growing up, that it shows weakness if you admit that you're hurting while you're training. This is definitely one of those sports where you definitely do not want to challenge that. If something does not feel right, stop. You need to figure out why it doesn't feel right. Because even whether it's something that just happened or it's a chronic issue, if you don't address it and you are attempting to be a powerlifter, it's going to make it worse, and you're going to end up having to see a doctor, a physical therapist, surgery, you name it, whatever. And this sport is about you staying as healthy and strong as possible as long as you can. So you do what you can.
Because it'll beat you down, tear you apart, but it'll rise you up, because you get the moment that you're like, yeah, I got this. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not to keep you more, but I want to thank you for taking the time, honestly, sincerely.
Thank you for joining us today on our weekly episode on Health Your Way podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and please feel free to comment below and ask any questions on topics we discussed, as well as future topics you'd like to hear about. Have a happy and healthy week, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode on our Health Your Way podcast.